pleases the audience, we will wait 2 or 3 more minutes for Commissioner Watson. Hello? Oh, there we are. I'm going to delay and say that we're near full capacity. Apologize for the 4-minute and 41-second delay. Let Ms. Watson take her chair. Good. It is now 8:34, and the public hearing for the Brazos County Commissioners Court will conduct a public hearing on today, Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. in the Commissioners Courtroom of the Brazos County Administrative Building, 200 South Texas Avenue. This time, the court calls Miss Nina Payne to start us off.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, Brazos County team, and members of the community. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today regarding the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026. This is a critical moment for our county, and I appreciate the chance to lay not just the numbers, but the values behind them. Let me be upfront. This is a lean and cautious budget. It reflects both the economic realities we are facing and our continued commitment to fiscal responsibility. Revenue growth has slowed while demands on county services have increased. We're seeing cost pressures across nearly every area: public safety, roads and infrastructure, emergency services, and the justice system. At the same time, our county continues to grow rapidly. Over the past 15 years, Brazos County population has increased by nearly 30%. That growth has expanded our tax base, adding more than $3.6 million in tax revenue from new property added to the roll this year, but has also stretched our resources. More residents mean more calls to law enforcement, more cases in our courts, more traffic on our roads, and greater demand for health and emergency services. Despite these challenges, we have worked hard to present a balanced proposal that protects core services, honors obligations, and positions us for long-term stability. In FY 2025, the adopted general fund budget, excluding the transfers out, was $190.35 million. The FY 2026 proposed general fund budget, excluding transfers out, is $192.42 million. During departmental budget meetings that lasted a month, we identified and implemented an estimated $8.15 million decrease. These decreases gave us flexibility to fund critical priorities while still increasing departmental operations by about 1% compared to FY 2025. Several key additions are included in this year's budget. 4% cost of living for employees, estimated $3.3 million. Axon contract, $1.17 million. One-time non-capital projects, $4.7 million, which includes HVAC replacements, armored vests, furniture replacements, and other facility needs. Compensation and benefit study, jail feasibility study, and of course the master plan for future planning. Position reclassifications in 7 new positions totaling $1.05 million. These targeted investments will help us meet today's needs and prepare for tomorrow's challenges. Every department was asked to reassess priorities and in many cases make tough decisions. We've delayed certain capital projects and held the line on discretionary spending wherever possible. But we've also been careful not to cut so deeply that our compromise the essential services our residents rely on. Still, we know no budget is perfect. That's why today, I'm not just here to present this proposal, I'm here to ask for your partnership. To the court, thank you for your leadership and scrutiny throughout this process. To the public, we need your voice. If there are areas where cuts can be reduced or programs that must be protected, please tell us. This is your county. This is your budget. The decisions we make today will affect public safety, economic development, and the quality of life in our neighborhoods. We made this process transparent by holding workshops, 8 days of workshops, and publishing details online. But more importantly, we are committed to listening. In closing, this budget is not flashy, and it is not perfect, but it is responsible. It reflects our shared values as a community, ensures stability, and keeps Brazos County strong both physically and socially. Together, through open dialogue and shared sacrifice, we can navigate these challenges and ensure Brazos County continues to thrive in the years ahead. We thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Payne. If it pleases the court, I think we should hear from the 3 citizens signed up, and then we'll have an opportunity to discuss and bring Ms. Payne up or Ms. Turner if necessary. Is that? Good. Well, thank you. So at this time, the court calls Chris Barnes. Mr. Barnes, welcome back. Please state your name, precinct you live in.
Thank you. My name is Chris Barnes, Precinct 2. Thank you, Commissioners, Judge. I was not exactly sure, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I didn't know whether what I need to say belongs in this meeting or the following meeting. So
Well, if you
I'm
don't
gonna
mind giving me
present it-
20 seconds, I'll help you. This is about
Okay.
the proposed budget.
Right. It
The
applies to both.
The 915 will be the tax rate, and then Commissioners Court at 10.
Okay. Well, it applies to both. So
It applies to all, I would imagine.
yeah, they're related.
Thank you.
So if I can say what I need to here, I may not need to speak at the next one.
Thank you.
Basically, there are a couple of things I want to address. It should be pretty brief. First of all, I know that the state legislature and the governor have made a big push directed by the voters to lower the tax rate, or to actually do property tax relief is the actual popular phrase. I believe that that means actually lowering the amount of property taxes we pay, not just slowing down how much we raise property taxes. To that end, I think there's at least two budget items, and I think they're in this year's budget, I may be wrong, that if not eliminated completely, they should be at least delayed because they're not needed right now, especially in light of the budget crisis with the reduced income that the county's going to have. The first one is the medical examiner's office. It is not the proposal that was presented to the public. What we have now is not what was presented to the public. There's been some significant withdrawals from other departments, other agencies, and I believe it's already been shown that it's a money-losing proposition for the county, not just now, but for the foreseeable future, which means I don't think it is something we need right now. So that money, I think we should not spend and not have the taxpayers spend it until we actually need it sometime in the future. The second budget item would be the new office building across the street over on Texas Avenue that connects to the courthouse. I know there's been some other discussion in previous months about that. It's possible that we may need that sometime in the future, but then again, it's a capital expense that I don't think is needed right now, and I think putting it on hold at least for several years is probably a good idea. You know, I kind of wanted to throw, there may be other things, and y'all are probably more aware of what might be able to be put on hold than I am. Those are just the two that I came up with off the top of my head. Thank you very much for your time.
Mr. Barnes, thank you. Bruce, if I may, we have the ability to visit with folks today during the workshop? Correct. Did you have a specific question, or do you just want to give us that insight on those two projects?
I just wanted to give you my feelings. I just wanted to give you my feelings on those two particular projects that I feel like we do not need, at least right now.
Perfect. And I appreciate that. And I will just say from the medical examiner's office, obviously you've been by and it has concrete and steel, and we are nearing completion, and I appreciate that. The 101 also from previous courts is under contract, and we will debate that on the agenda today later. But thank you for your insight. Commissioners, any other comments on those two projects? No. Thank you. Court now calls Ronald Rhodes, or Robert Rhodes? Ronald Rhodes. Ronald, Mr. Rhodes, please state your name and the precinct you reside in.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Ronald Rhodes, Precinct 3. Live in Waterford Heights, just behind Costco in College Station. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today. Appreciate the opportunity. Since January 1st, 2017, I've been retired from Total Energies, a large global oil company out of headquarters out of Paris, France, and I was the global management system director when I retired. I now am in charge of my front and backyard lawn mowing at the direction of my wife. So, you know, my life has somewhat changed in the last few years. But anyway, since late 2022, we moved back into College Station and now call it home. I was proud to play for the Aggies in baseball back in '74 when baseball wasn't even a thing. But anyway, good to come back. My first wife of 45 years, Terry Rhodes, passed away from glioblastoma metforma in 2020, and after surviving 3 years of battling that cancer. And Renee, my current wife, Terry, my previous wife, and I had been friends for 50 years, and it was a pleasure that shortly after my wife's passing, Renee and I had met and actually seen each other for the first time in 40 years. And we were married in late 2020, in January 1st of 2021. So anyway, God is good. That's all I'll say. Although blessed with many things, we have also had cancer battles of our own, right? I had 22 inches of my colon removed and my spleen removed last year from a colon cancer. And my wife, Renee, is undergoing treatment for mucosal melanoma, rare form of cancer that about 800 people a year have globally. And so MD Anderson, she's kind of a test rat when we go there. So anyway, we're very appreciative of their help and their guidance. But bottom line, we've certainly been blessed from the perspective of we're still alive and kicking, but that's been a financial struggle, as you may know. I had, again, stage 3 colon cancer. My wife, Renee, continues with her chemotherapy treatment or immunotherapy treatment for her cancer with mucosal melanoma. And survival rate for that is about about 12% survival rate, 5 years. So hopefully I won't have 2 wives that pass away from cancer, but hey, if so, so be it. So by the grace of God, I'm here today, and so is my wife. Our battles have been great as far as the medical services. They've also been financially a struggle, all right? Our bills are about $1.2 million in both of our cases combined. And our out-of-pocket is about $25,000 and rising with her continued treatment. I don't share this information for sympathy. I, again, very thankful for where I am today, but it's also been a financial burden. I'm not going to go and do a GoFundMe for my particular case. That's not how I run my life.
That's actually your time is run out.
Mr. Rhodes, I will grant you time to get to the point. I understand that. I would love to visit with you about immunotherapy. I'm part of an ovarian cancer foundation, so very interested in your experience. But we have a short calendar today with 3 meetings, and we're going to do our best, and we are glad you're here. So I know you wanted to make a point, and you did, but now it's time to hit the budget parts that you want to tell us about. We'd love that.
Let me quickly get to the point of saying this. I managed a budget of about $6 million when I was with Total. Many years we had to sit there and cut and make tough decisions. A tax increase of 12% is, to me, completely unacceptable. We've got to get the scalpel out and figure out where we can cut. I got a 2.55 or 2.5% increase in Social Security this year. And thank God for Buffalo Wild Wings, where I'd bust tables at night and see a lot of football. But this budget needs to be looked at with a scalpel.
Yes, sir. And you make a good point, and I want to make sure this is clear for everybody in the audience and the listening audience and the viewing audience later. By statute, by the Texas legislature, we have to post our budget, which is a 1% increase over last year, but we have to post it as an increase over the NNR. So that's where the 13% comes out. In actuality, it is a 1% increase, and depending on the tax rate we adopt today, the final numbers will be out. But regardless of what that number is, anything over the NNR will be reported as an increase, and that is by statute. And welcome to government math.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much.
Next, Kathy Vians. Know the drill, the name and the precinct you live in. And good to see you this morning.
Kathy Vians, Precinct 4. Thank you, Judge Cassell. Good morning, Commissioners. I had a lot of questions. I'm wondering, when we're projecting on the budget the needs of the county as far as space and office space and expanding personnel and employment, if anybody has considered the impact of AI and the job functions that will be eliminated with the AI. I think there's going to be an enormous impact on the needs for employment in the county. And I hate for us to be spending so much money anticipating that the growth will continue as it always has without the complete understanding of how AI will be impacting it.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to try to help you, but let's answer each question as we go
Okay.
along. And I will let the commissioners answer, but really quick, yes, AI is on the table. And two, we have a workshop coming up very soon over the overlay of all the expansion and office space so that everybody knows where it's going, including the five of us, and wanting to be transparent. Commissioner Nettles, would you like to make any points on AI?
Well, I think AI also has an opportunity in government to help us decrease the cost to the taxpayers. So we're exploring some of those options, and I think we have to move in that direction. The entire world's moving in that direction. Government moves that very slowly compared to industry. So I expect that we will actually benefit from the cost savings from AI.
My point on that topic is our capital projects that are expanding literal physical space.
Kathy, if I can interrupt.
Yes.
For some reason, I'm no longer connected to the box, so I'm going to have to do it.
Okay.
again.
I'll hurry, because I have a couple of other
But we
questions.
just want to answer when you
And I-
ask the question. Let's be
I
clear.
am so
So
very,
you don't
very
forget, and we don't
grateful.
forget.
Yes, and I'm so grateful.
I can
Okay.
imagine.
Could you move the microphone just a little closer? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So with 91% of the county's fiscal year complete now, what's the annual maintenance and operation surplus or deficit projected for this year?
So the deficit on the MO, depending on the rate we have, is anywhere between 5 million and 15 million, plus or minus.
In the last 10 years, including the year that the county was forced into adopting the no new revenue rate, did the county ever have an annual operating deficit?
I don't believe so, but we will get those numbers to you. But remember,
Okay.
when the no new revenue rate was adopted, the court also took the opinion of to spend fund balance down. So
Yes, I know.
compiled with the appraisal district and everything that we're going into, makes this decision this year very important.
I agree. In the last 10 years, did the county ever spend more than 92% of the amount that was budgeted to be spent in its annual operating budget?
That is a good question, and the calculators are running.
Okay. I just lost my thought. Oh, I wanted to point out that we've been coming to, since the budget hearings 2 years ago. So the year before that, so that, I think that would have been 2023.
That makes our relationship seem short.
I know. So the COLA that year was 7%. The COLA last year was, or the year before, the year after that year was 5%. The COLA this year is 4%. So it's 7 and then a 5 on top of that and a 4 on top of that. I just want to point that out to the court.
And we still have 20% plus or minus of our work staff working under the poverty level.
Well,
That's
guess
hence
what?
the-
What percent of the community is working at poverty level that's trying to finance these taxes? I just want to point that out.
Right, and that's why you had a 5-0 vote for the compensation package, so we can tackle that appropriately, and we are pushing very hard.
Maybe we all need to get jobs in the county so we can afford it.
Well, if you have the talent, we're looking for good talent.
Oh, okay, I might want to meet with you about that.
Thank you, Kathy. Any questions for Kathy?
No, the only thing I would add is with AI, definitely a tool we need to embrace, obviously with security in mind because of the sensitive nature of data that we have in the county, but definitely want to see us embracing that moving forward.
Again, my point on that part is
Right.
not the contribution part, but the expectation of the needs of the county for land and buildings.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am. Kathy, before you step away, was the question 92% of the budget spent? Was that the
Yes.
actual question?
Yes, 90%, 92% of the amount that was budgeted to be spent in its annual operating
Okay,
budget.
like I said, the calculators are running. If we don't get that to you before this workshop ends and we start the next one and/or at some point today, I will pause and get that number to you.
Okay, thank you.
Kathy, thank you so much. At this time, I will open it up to the commissioners, and just for lack of any rhyme or reason, I think it's right to start with Commissioner Precinct 1. Mr. Nettles? Right to left to right for the viewing.
Well, so I want to thank the staff who worked so hard on this budget. Yeah, I've been involved with the state budgeting process, and it's a walk in the park compared to the county budgeting process, I'll tell you. The state process is painful, confusing, and quick. The county process is painful, confusing, and takes 6 months. And I don't know how y'all do it. So thank y'all. Thank you for your patience with somebody new to this process. I can be kind of aggressive at times on my questioning, but I appreciate your professionalism and politeness. That's all I have.
Commissioner Condola.
Everything you said about the complexity of it. I feel like sometimes when you're doing the county budget, it's like the old sideshow guy that would have the pole and the plate on top, spinning the plate, and you're trying to keep all the plates spinning. Again, very thankful to the staff, the budget and audit, especially finding $8.15 million that we could decrease. We made significant investments in this budget for public safety. You've heard the Axion mentioned. That's, I think it's going to save lives of law enforcement and potentially citizens as well. Happy to talk with anyone more about that. Capital projects are moving forward that we've had reserve set aside for capital, and we're using that this year. So there's a lot of movement in the money. Losing $120 million for valuations the Monday before we were having our first meeting, our
budget board.
proposal meeting 2 weeks ago. The Monday before that, we learned the state is potentially looking at capping how much you can affect your tax rate without going to the voter for a vote. And then $120 million in valuations that you based a budget on. Again, I don't look at that like, oh boy, goody, that's our money. But you're basing a budget on valuations. And $120 million of that went away with $2.1 billion in flux. That's with a B, $2.1 billion. We do have a court now that's hearing those cases and moving through those. And anytime a taxpayer can prove that they were overtaxed and they come out with a satisfactory judgment, I applaud that. But you're basing a budget on valuation. When you change it $120 million the day before the first meeting, or excuse me, that was the Tuesday afternoon of the first meeting. That's very difficult. So a very difficult process, you're right. Again, kudos to staff for finding decreases. There's lots of plates still spinning that we have to keep spinning, and that is a challenge.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. There's really two issues that I'm curious about. One is the M&O, that it was figured through 11 months of this year, and I'm curious as to where the projected either surplus or deficit's going to be at the end of this month. And the second issue is across the street, the fourth floor on the 101 Texas Avenue. And my thoughts are that's $10 million that we could put back in the general fund and reduce our tax base, and then go out in the spring of next year to the bond market and finance that $10 million fourth floor, if that's what the court decides to do. But I think that's a good way for us to reduce the tax rate, because all the public's hearing right now is 12% increase, 12% increase. It was on the news last night, KBTX. It was probably in the Eagle. I haven't read the Eagle this morning, but everybody thinks it's 12%. So both of those issues, I think, they're paramount to me. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Watson.
Well, someone talked about the fact that the Texas legislature is really working, has heard the voters, and is helping to reduce our tax rate. But in what they're doing to reduce the tax rate for the voters or for the citizens is almost like an unfunded mandate, because they get the attaboys or girls showing that they're doing something for the taxpayers, but what they do is they put the onus of that reduction onto the county. And so then it makes us look like we're not being responsive in terms of our fiduciary role to the citizens, because we have to be able to operate the county, the cities have to be able to operate, and the impact of the decisions that the legislature makes is put on us. And so now we're the ones who are on the ground, we're the ones on the ground having to face you all with any choices that we make in terms of the tax rate. And so the operation of the county, the services that we provide, the safety that we provide to the citizens in our immediate area, i.e. Brazos County, we're the ones who have to make sure that we're taking care of you as citizens and we're funding what is needed. I applaud our budget and our auditor folks for all the work that they've done to try to help us be as responsible as we can. But at the end of the day, any decision that is made in Austin is like an unfunded mandate for the local counties and for the local cities. And so we try to do the best that we can. We all have concerns. It's not like we just gleefully make decisions to spend money unnecessarily. It's not any different than we do in our personal budget when we have needs or emergencies, or we try to take care of things that we're preparing for our families and for our homes. And so we hear everything that you all are saying, and we're doing the best that we can to try to be proactive and progressive. I hear the concerns about what the future may be in terms of employment and how we manage the resources, how we manage, how we hire, and what we do for our employees. But nonetheless, we're doing the best that we can with, in a sense, the unfunded mandate that has come down on us from Austin, Texas, where, like I said, they're getting the glory, and we're having the ones that having to stand before you and be responsive to any of your concerns and angst about how we're spending the money.
Thank you, Commissioner Watson. I will add to a simple thank you to Marcy and Nina and the teams that you worked with to present this budget to this court. I will thank the citizens for your input continuously through the 8 days of workshops, and I have a feeling you're going to give us good input today. We are working strong, and lastly, I am very thankful to this Commissioners Court that was here every day of the budget workshops. I heard in the past that the Commissioners Court was not present at every workshop. I think by that you see the testament of this court to do what's right with all the landmines out there. I hope I was clear that the stated budget increase is simply 1%. By statute, it has to be based off the NNR. And whether that's fair, good, or not, you need to realize this court does not intend to raise your taxes. This court intends to balance a budget, and this process has been a very, very thoughtful, workful process that I am proud of the leadership on the court and the leadership of our finance, budget, and audit team. So with that, I thank you. And before we adjourn this meeting and move to the 9:15, we will have plenty of time for you all citizens to sign up for the 9:15. After the 9:15, we will take a pause and give you plenty of time to sign up for the 10 o'clock Commissioners Court. And thank you for your patience as our team of 3 works very hard to make sure you sign the appropriate sign-up sheet for public comment at the beginning of the Commissioners Court and public comment for each agenda item. So with that, Commissioners, any party shots? Thank you. It is 9:04 and the workshop on the budget is now adjourned. We will meet in 11 minutes to begin the tax rate discussion.